Evening all, episode, good lord, 14. Episode 14, Rob, Matt.
That's right. Believe it or not.
We're officially teenagers now.
And you know what? It's very, very special. It's a double special episode. Not only is it special episode number 14, it's also our 1 year, exactly 1 year anniversary that we're recording this tonight. It's not 1 year anniversary when it's actually going out. It's about 2 or 3 days after, isn't it? Or thereabouts. But don't worry about that too much. We'll be eating our cake tonight. But it is our exact 1 year anniversary of lockdown Modulate TV shows.
That is right. So we started on Wednesday, the 15th of April, 2020.
I know. Lockdown was new and frightening and exciting at the same time. Everybody was all like, we're going to do these amazing things over lockdown. And look, we did it.
We did it, and we've kept it going. And yeah, so happy birthday to us.
Absolutely. We've taken the lemons that 2020 gave us, and we've made a very tasty lemonade out of them, haven't we?
Well done, Matt.
Absolutely.
Putting that positive spin on it.
And we have got a storming show lined up, though, haven't we? And we're doing a bit of globetrotting again as well, aren't we? So we are going all over the place.
Yeah, it's nice actually because it kind of how the show came about. It started kind of local, I guess, in terms of those of us that used to do Modulate, and then as those that watch as we've gone through the year, we've expanded, and tonight's no different. So we've got Megan Leber on from the Netherlands, a couple of Only Human residents from Chester, just down the road. So we've got Andy Peggs and Dave Julian, and we head across to Berlin for Hovercat. We've got Johno Wells performing from, I'll try and say this right, the Sequoia National Park in California.
Oh, and do you know, just watching that, wait until you see it. I'm just so jealous of that whole situation. But anyway,
spectacular, isn't it?
We'll see later on what I mean.
And then Spectrin, who's down in South London. So, I think a show that reflects the year we've had of kind of bringing together a community just from wherever people are in the world, really, which has been fab.
Well, that's what it's all about. One big happy family all together. So where are we starting the night off then? Are we going Netherlands first, is it?
Yeah, we're going Netherlands first. Yeah, we kick off tonight with a performance from Megan Leber. So I'm glad she's finally kind of got her on the show. Been chatting to her for quite a while and trying to kind of fit a time in her busy schedule to get her on the show. So yeah, she's done this performance for us tonight, which is it's a pretty special way to start the show, I think. It's
an extremely special way to start the show. Why don't we have a listen and then we can have a chat about it afterwards. This is an unnamed tune as well, isn't it? So this is Megan Leber. Just enjoy this. This is amazing. Wow, that was Megan Leber. That was amazing. That really. Do you know? I had a feeling of John Hopkins throughout that.
Yeah,
Was it just me? I don't know.
I get that the way it just gradually builds and builds and builds and builds, and all these subtle little layers kind of come in and just kind of keep adding to the track.
And really beautifully subtle percussion throughout that as well.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful performance, and I think just so well paced as well. I really admire performers who can just hold something over that length of time and not drop the kick in like after after a minute. She just kept us on the really ambient vibes, and then the bass line came in, and just when you thought, ooh, maybe I could do with some drums, here's a nice kick that didn't overwhelm the track, but just came in and kept it driving. And then as we got through the track, she would drop it out and bring it back in again. And it was just absolutely spot on for me, that one.
That bass line was beautiful as well. I'm glad you mentioned that, because that kind of changed and morphed as it went on as well. That was just so nice. And again, really subtle, just really nice and subtle throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, and another just fantastic performance space. It was... it reminded me of the first one Probby did for us, where it just looked like such a great, lovely, clean space to go and create, and with the modular and the computer and the analog rhythm just on the top there, and the two Strymon pedals off to the side. It's just like, I want to be there. And
it's not an accident that. And if you if you follow her on Instagram, I mean, she clearly the aesthetic of how everything looks is always spot on. Including if she gets a new module. I mean, people post pictures of a new module. When she does it, it just looks like a work of art in terms of like the presentation of what she's got. So she's really, she's kind of got it spot on in terms of that combination of great performance, but also it kind of looking fabulous as well.
You were saying, Rob, as we were listening to that as well, that she's doing some collaboration stuff, and also has done in the past as well.
Yeah, so she's done some stuff with Speedy J. So I'm going to forget the name of what it is now. That his platform is on Twitch, but he does these collaborations where he streams it on Twitch, and she got invited to collaborate with him and do that. And I think she's going on to record. I think she said she's recording an EP with him. Not sure when, so hopefully that'll come out this year.
Oh wow, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, so she's really. I mean, it's why she couldn't do the last show. She was due to the last show, and then Speedy J invited her to his store lab in Rotterdam.
It's kind of fair enough, isn't it?
What are you going to do? I think think of all the reasons to be kind of blown out on the show, to see someone that he's going to perform for you, kind of be going on and working with someone like him. You're just like, sadly, this is...
Yeah, go on. I'll let you off this week.
You do that, Megan. Yeah, you go on and do that. So, and that was a brilliant performance as well. So, no, she's done great. And she's doing some... I think she's doing some stuff for the Colorado Modular Synth Society and a couple of other things as well. So, yeah, check her out on Instagram and keep an eye on 2022, because I think she'll have an album coming out then. So
if we want to search for Megan on Instagram, what do we search for?
I think she's just under her name, under Megan Leber. We'll put the link in we'll put the link in the description on the channel. But yeah, well worth watching.
Brilliant.
And we'll try and link to the. She did the Modular World show, so she did Johno's show. So we might try and link to that performance as well. That was a
great performance as well.
Fantastic. Brilliant stuff. Well, thank you very much, Megan. That was an amazing piece of music. Thoroughly enjoyable, and I'm sure we'll all be trying to tune in to see what else you've been doing. And I'm very much looking forward to that EP coming out as well. That'd be amazing.
I know. What an opportunity, eh?
Oh, I know. Astonishing. So coming up next, we've got a bit of it's one of our friends, a bit of a Modulate and Only Human stalwart. Who have we got coming up next?
So we've got Andy Peggs. So I wanted a couple of people who are on the first show tonight to kind of have that continuity. So I say Andy was he founded Only Human, performed at Modulate in Sheldon several times, and loved his performances. So yeah, he's got a performance for us tonight called That Sinking Feeling.
And that's with a Y.
It is with a Y, indeed.
It is. It is. Well, I tell you what, why don't we have a listen and we'll have a chat about it afterwards. So this is Andy Peggs, That Sinking Feeling. was Andy Peggs. That was that sinking feeling. That was really unusual actually for Andy, because Andy's normally a lot more. What's the word I'm trying to look for here? It's a lot more structured, the work that Andy does normally. But when he's done that, and normally he quite often does it without the modular kit as well, doesn't he? So he's used the modular kit in there, plus his other pieces of equipment, rocket operator and all sorts in there, and it's a less structured piece, which is really nice to see.
Really cool to see him getting the vocoder out on the microcorg as well. I'm trying to think. Microcorg.
Yeah, I think it is microcorg, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just something that we haven't seen. Oh, we saw Dave do it, but great to see it using the old built-in gooseneck. And the pocket operator, the drum beat that got out of that thing was fantastic. Like, I see people using these things and getting decent sounds out of them, and I've never managed to do anything decent with it at all.
They're amazing pieces of kit. You had a couple of those, Rob, didn't you? Or a couple of three.
But they do make an amazing sound for the size of them. And he's using the he's using the Bloom sequencer. Another one which I've tried but could never quite make friends with. But if you've been watching Andy recently on social media, you'll have seen his snorps. I think it's snorps. That he's like little arpeggiated sequences that he keeps doing. So that I think most of those are using the Bloom, and then he's got the Dreadbox Erebus, which is a beautiful sounding analog synth. So the combination of those kind of arpeggiated kind of melodies coming out of Bloom, it's kind of a perfect combo, really. So so I think this track's a bit of an extended version of some of those kind of mini 1 minute segments he's been doing for Instagram.
Yeah, had a kind of a chip tune feel to the whole thing as well, didn't it?
Yeah, it's quite lo-fi, isn't it? But I think he's that's certainly been Andy's kind of year, isn't it? There's been a couple of tracks. He did the one with the kind of tape machine, and he's certainly gone. Certainly when we first saw him, it was the Digitat and the TB3 and things like that, where it was kind of more structured patterns and that kind of very energetic, very kind of structured music. And it's, I think he's over lockdown, he's kind of experimented and just kind of found a different way to interact with how he kind of performs, really. So
which piece of kit was syncing the COVID kit? That's the bit I couldn't work out. And which noise was that making?
It's the lateral flow module, that one, Jules. It's a new module, widely available. Everyone gets 2 a week.
There's quite a waiting list to get one, but they're rolling them out at an incredible rate.
A rapid pace, yeah. But if you work in the education sector, you can get quite a few. So,
That was a superb tune, though. Thank you very much, Andy. It was, and again, I'm just nice to hear something a little bit unusual from Andy and something a little bit different. So I'd put a vote in for a lot more of that sort of stuff from Andy, really. I don't know about
absolutely.
you guys.
Yeah,
I was chatting with the other day. His current challenge is working out how it translates live, and I resonate with that, because when you kind of do more improvisational modular stuff, it can sound amazing, but equally it can sound not so amazing. And when he sat there looking at it, thinking, how would this sound to a room full of people if it went wrong? So I think he's in that space that a lot of us get to with this. But certainly look forward to him kind of doing more on the experimental front, definitely.
So again, anybody who's not familiar with Andy's stuff, where can they find some more of what he's been doing?
So Bandcamp's probably the best place. He's released 4 albums last year. I can't remember.
He is quite prolific.
He's on album number 5 this year.
Yeah, there we go. But the Snorps things, they're only like 1 minute long, little it's kind of little melodies and snippets. He's done quite a few of those recently. That are all available for free on his Bandcamp. So head over to his Bandcamp. Loads of stuff on there.
Brilliant. Okay, just search for Andy Peggs on Bandcamp. You'll find that in there somewhere or other. So, and again, it's from one friend of the show, mate, Andy Peggs, to another friend of the show, which is our good friend Dave Julian.
Yes, another Chester resident. Absolutely, he's on fire in 2021, recording these videos for us. So, yeah.
Well, he's on Funkin fire this year. He's funked it right up, and he's got another funky beat that he's kicked out here called "Pardon Funkin' Me."
Funking Me.
He really has funked it right up this year, hasn't he?
I know, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Yeah, let's have a listen and see what he's cooking up.
Let's see what he's doing. Okay, this is Dave Julian. This is "Pardon Funkin' Me." wow, that was Dave Julian. That was Pardon Funkin' Me. We used to call Dave Julian Dr. Boom. I think it's Dr. Funk now. It's got to be.
He's going that direction, isn't he? He's definitely exploring a kind of rich vein of funky 70s influenced.
I think it's his new hair.
Tunes.
He's grown his hair, and I think that's given him the funk.
He's like Samson of old. The funk is looking.
Exactly. Don't cut it off, Dave. The funk will go.
I was going to say he's kind of exploring that 70s vibe, and he kind of is with this because he's there's a bit of a protest theme song to this one. So this song will develop, and there will be vocals. So yeah, watch this space for where this tune goes. So this is his kind of first laying down of the track, kind of exclusively for us. So he's not been released anywhere.
Right.
It'll probably be in a slightly different form when he does release it, but yeah, he's enjoying the process of doing stuff for Modulate TV to kind of get his tracks and kind of work out the arrangements and that kind of thing. So yeah.
I'm looking over your shoulder there, Matt, and I can't quite see close enough, but is that the same synth that Dave was playing in the video?
No, sadly not. That's the Sequential Pro 2, and Dave has a very lovely OB6.
Ah, right, which was sounding gorgeous in there.
It was, yeah.
Right.
Proper, kind of got a bit of a Thriller influence there with the do-do-do.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you did there, Dave. And I did message him about that, and he was saying he was playing with another riff that he just absolutely could not use in the track because it was just a riff from Thriller. So, but yeah, just with that one, I loved the kind of more aggressive beats, kind of bit tougher bass line, and then just Dave playing his funk over the top. So yeah, it all fits so well. And it's amazing to see him. I think I was watching that and thinking it's kind of a symbiotic relationship. He seems so between Dave's playing, the arrangement and the sequencing, and the bit where he's trading riffs with, I'm going to say the analog keys. I'm going to guess.
It was the analog keys. Yeah. I think the Boomstar was doing the bass. On bassline duties
and you got
at the back.
There's just that bit where the sequence plays something and he plays something and then he's trading off with it. And to say, you are one organism. It's just an extension of him.
And absolutely, and I think Matt made the point really well. Is it kind of he clearly used the sequencing to its full capacity, so it frees him up to do what he's brilliant at on this track, which is kind of playing the keys. I thought it was really clever. There's other tracks where he's been more involved in other stuff, but like you say, on this one it's more that call and response, and I can't wait to hear the vocals. I don't know what he's got to say, but he's certainly got something to say. But he almost didn't make it. He cut his finger. So he was recording this the night, and
I saw his neat plaster on his finger there.
So he sliced his finger open as he was cutting something in the kitchen. So he was just about to record it, and then he messaged me going, "I've just sliced my finger open," and he's fairly devastated, but clearly it recovered for the next day. Indeed.
Well done, Dave.
Brilliant. Well, it was superb as always, Dave. So again, for Dave's stuff, I think Dave is more SoundCloud, isn't he?
Yes, he's a lot of stuff on SoundCloud. He's got some stuff on Bandcamp as well. Less stuff on Bandcamp, but he's got a couple of tracks on there, I think. And I think more stuff in the pipeline coming up later this year. So.
Brilliant. Okay, well, do search him out because Dave's got some amazing stuff in his back catalogue as well. If you've not heard of his stuff before, there really is some awesome tunes in there.
Oh,
literally awesome tunes.
No, certainly.
So do have a dig around and listen to some of Dave's other stuff. So moving on, Dave Julian, thank you very much indeed. Now moving on to this is great. You shouldn't have any favourites, but this is my favourite. Hovercat. This is just great. Great song.
I know. So. Yeah, Alexander's done the show before. Can't remember when. But yeah, he's a long time kind of Instagram friend. just one of those people you kind of feel like you've known forever on social media. One day maybe you'll get across to Berlin, or he'll come to Colwyn Bay. I think one of those is more likely than the other. But yeah, it's a.
Where would you rather go? Colwyn Bay, Berlin. It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Absolutely.
We could bring him and Tune Girl over, and we'll have a cultural exchange.
Oh my goodness! Could you imagine that in Sheldon's?
Yeah.
That would be one hell of a night. Just have to tell the Chinese next door to relocate for that particular night. Girls, just close your restaurant for the night. We'll pay the bill. We're having it. Yeah, but yeah, this is a fantastic track. Let's listen to this. It's just marvelous stuff.
Absolutely. This is Hovercat. This is Welcome Home. Well, that was quite something. That was Hovercat Welcome Home. I think you can probably say, I'd say you shouldn't have favourites, but wasn't that good? That was right up my alley. That's proper good hard going dance music.
Yeah,
dirty techno club late at night. Just loved that end to end.
Bit of Prodigy, do you reckon, with that?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what it kind of took me to. But
I thought for me that was just like Plump DJs, Freak Nasty, Crafty Cuts,
Plump DJs,
breakbeat.
Absolutely, yes,
absolutely mint. Like just when that beat drops, you're just like, oh, okay, here we go. Yep.
Yeah.
He's using the MPC-1 for the beats on this, so it's a real great mix of. He's got the MPC for the drum programming, but then he's sequencing a lot of the melodic stuff is in the modular, and so he plays those pad sounds on that little whatever it was.
Yeah, was it the Sensor Morph? I think
was that the keyboard thing?
Yeah. That breakdown where he moves over to the keys, and then just seeing it. I hadn't read the notes at that point, so you see him and he moves his hands up, and it's just like. Is that one of those like MPE sort of keyboards where you've got like the Rolly C-board sort of thing where you can send controllers as well? Yep. And just
I couldn't work out if it was an iPad or is that actually a piece of hardware that?
I think there's a hardware keyboard and then there's the synth is running on the iPad.
Yeah. So he's got a Juno emulation on the iPad, and then it's a Sensor Morph is the name of the controller.
Right.
And that he's playing stuff on. Yeah, I love that.
That's really cool.
Sorry, Rob, go on.
Yeah, no, go on, mate.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to get overexcited. And he's got a Novation Peak.
Yes.
And that's the first time I've seen somebody using a Novation Peak on any of these shows, and it's my little dream synth on that. But is it actually used in that?
No, I don't think it is.
Oh, really?
I was looking through his patch notes. I don't think he uses the Peak.
It's there in spirit though. It's just there to look pretty.
Absolutely. It's like Megan with the analog rhythm. This is just sat there.
Yeah, I like how that was still out.
Pretty.
It's just like, it's just art. Let's just enjoy it.
Yeah, it was just. But I don't think he. No, I'm just looking through. I don't think he does. Lots of other stuff going on. But yeah, I thought. I mean, the mix of all the different stuff. I thought the production of it. It just sounded like. And I mean, it's a positive way. It sounded like something had been done in a DAW and arranged, kind of post-production wise. It just sounded that good. I think he did multi-track it, so I think he had recorded everything separately. But
right,
yeah, they all spot on, and the visuals as well. Again, someone else who's kind of nailed that mix of performance and visuals as well.
It was the control over the modular stuff as well, though, throughout the whole thing, because not saying it seemed too structured, but there had a good structure to it, considering there was modular pieces of kit being used within there. Yeah, and I'm sure you know what I mean, Rob, that it's difficult to try and tame that throughout the whole performance and keep it under control. But the whole thing was absolutely precision under control throughout the whole thing.
Absolutely, and I think it was like 4 minutes, wasn't it? And it felt longer in a good way. I was surprised when I looked at it and thought, that's only 4 minutes long. That felt like a longer dance track. But I think what both Alexander and Megan have done well is it's kind of the right amount of modulation. So the sequencing is kind of clearly kind of programmed and structured, but they're mixing that brilliantly with that little bit of random modulation that means it's always just sounding slightly different. And that's why modular is great. It's quite hard because in a normal synth you have to program every little bit of variation, which is quite hard to do. Whereas with the modular, if you've got the right modulation sources, it can, you can get that variation and that kind of movement to your track, which I think he pulled off. I think he pulled that off really well. Yeah.
So if we want to listen to more Hovercat, Rob, where do we find that?
I don't know really. He's been quite quiet, so Instagram's the main place, but he's not done a lot of stuff during lockdown. I think he's not got a huge amount out there. I did ask him the other day, and he kind of didn't have anything to kind of share or promote. So if I get anything in between recording and the show, we'll kind of put it in the links.
Cool. Okay.
Watch his show if you want to see him. Go back to the other one, and hopefully he'll do more because I just think he's ace. He's just one of my favourite producers. happily have him on every week if he's going to give us bangers like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and a proper banger it was. Right, well, that was amazing. That was Hovercat Welcome Home. And now, well, do you want to explain a little bit about this, Robert, coming up now? So we've got your interview with Johno Wells coming up now, haven't we?
Yeah, so we've got me and Johno had a chat earlier in the week. And we just thought it'd be nice to talk about our respective years of doing these shows. So Johno's someone I got to know last summer in 2020, and he started his show, Modular World, which is based in California, around the same time, just a couple of weeks after us, basically, I think his first show was. Yeah, so we just had a chat about that, and what the year's been like, and what we're looking forward to next. And then we've got a performance from Johno to follow on from that.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, why don't we stick it on? Let's have a listen to you guys chatting, listen to the song, and then we'll see everybody else on the other side.
Hi, Johno. How you doing, man?
It's great to see you, as always. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks
for having me on. Yeah, I love this show.
Thanks for joining our show. I think it's second time we've had you on, but first time we've kind of chatted on the show. So,
well, happy anniversary, man. It's a big one. Yeah.
It is. It's pretty amazing, really.
It's so much work. So now, what was it which made you guys do it?
So for us, we had a Modulate that took place in person in a bar.
Right. Right.
There's a little gang of us who perform, and I guess for us it was a way of keeping that going. The first show, it was literally what we're all going to do. Lockdown. We need to keep the fire burning somehow.
Right.
So, just decided to do a show as something to do, without any idea that how long or what it would turn into. So that was us. But how about
That's so
yourself? Because
nice.
you've got a birthday. You've got a birthday soon as well, haven't you? So. What made you?
Funny, like our shows have gone sort of lockstep. Like I just had 14 shows, and Modular World it started just a little bit after you guys. It was early May, and actually my anniversary show is to the day on May 8th.
Okay, cool.
So just a couple weeks, and mine was created out of feeling like there was a lot of different global scenes working in their own little bubbles, and it was in an effort to kind of combine all those scenes, because there was a lot of international players who wanted to come over and play modular on the spot here in San Diego or here in LA. And there was we didn't think about doing an online stream. It was like we could have done this for years. And we just didn't do it. And I've talked about it before, but I think that there was a stigma about I don't want to watch a live stream on a Saturday. I want to go and see you in person. And then that was at the cost of doing nothing. It was like, well, wouldn't it be something to be able to have Etch-a-Sketch play from Wales? Wouldn't that be cool? You wouldn't tune in and see that? Because I think that people would have. They would have done it, but we just didn't. We didn't do it.
I mean, it's really interesting you say that, because I think that came second for us. So we did a couple of shows, and then for whatever reasons, the kind of people who would have played Modulate, and also shout out to Only Human, which is a night based in Chester, just down the road, where there's a lot of crossover between Modulate and Only Human in terms of people who play it each. And people just weren't coming up with stuff. So I'd just start going through my Instagram feed and be like, oh yeah, they're cool. I wonder what will happen if I ask if they fancy doing the show. So you just get in touch and send a few messages out, and
they say yes.
And they say yes. I know. It's
amazing.
It is amazing. But I mean, the privilege for me of being the first people to see those performances is, it's so special. And then, and then you get to share them, and
and that's
pretty amazing.
Yeah.
do, really.
Yeah, I mean, show after show, I'm always happy to like see the reaction to a video which I've seen. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to show them
Yeah,
that sketch piece. Yeah, they're gonna love, and then you see the reaction. It's like you just dropped a bomb.
well, absolutely. I mean, like your video
Yeah.
tonight that we'll show in a bit, and it's like I know what the reaction to that's going to be, and because I had. I won't do the spoiler, but there's a moment in that performance I'm like, he did what? And it's like, and it's amazing.
That was the part where I took my shirt off, right?
Absolutely.
I shouldn't have said it. I'm sorry, I ruined it.
So what's been?
I should have kept my shirt on.
No, keep the shirt on. So what's been your, I guess, takeaway for the year? What's been the biggest? Ever the biggest thing that surprised you or that you've enjoyed that you didn't expect to enjoy through doing online show?
Oh God, I think I've always been like connection guy,
Okay. Makes sense.
and messages and likes on social media are great, and that's where it starts. But I really need the relationship to be real. I need a genuine connection. So my takeaway might be just the value of the time I've spent on 1 and 2 and 3 hour Zoom calls with like,
Okay.
I don't know, over 200 people maybe over the year, where I've just wanted to hit them up and talk. And it's been kind of a reminder to myself that, again, like we could have done this, like Zoom is new, that's fine. But man, we've had Skype for decades or whatever. And it would be just encouraging myself to keep doing that and keep hitting people up who I just want to talk to, because previously it might've been a little odd, like, especially with women, I'm like contacting women, like, why does this guy want to get on Zoom with me? Like, that's like, is this creepy or, and I want to just keep making sure I do that and push myself to have those connections and to just hit up people and say, man, I love what you're doing. And I just want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And like, I definitely had people message me back, like, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I remember when you...
I'm like, I don't know. I want to talk about what you do. I want you to be on the show, so I want to know you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I remember that when you got in touch with me, I was like, what do you want to talk about?
What does this guy want to talk about?
And then we just found myself talking for 2 or 3 hours with you late one night, and it's like, oh, that was cool. And then at the end, you said, do you fancy doing the show? And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And kind of forgotten that
was what it was about. Yeah,
that was what it might be about. And
well, I mean, I never like wait to pop the question. Like I tell you in the first messages, like, I want you to play the show. This is why I want to talk. And maybe people feel like I could play your show. We don't need to get to know each other.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no. It's not going to go like that.
I think it's nice.
Yeah, you got to know who's on your show. It's personal. I want to connect with you. And
Agreed. And on that, I just want to say a shout out to someone who's not on our show tonight because he can't be, and that's Jason Surgeon Mass. I know someone you've got to know well, and he's gutted he can't do this show, and I don't know whether he'll have recovered in time to do yours, but if not, buddy, I hope you're watching wherever you are and recovering well. And yeah, you talk about those connections. I mean, someone...
I love him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your, like, what would be your takeaway for the year? Like, what's the thing that really changed you?
I think it was I can't remember what show it had been on, but it took us a while to find the right home for it. We did it on Facebook, and then we did it on YouTube, and then we did it on both. And I found myself on a flip between these chats, and I can't remember which show it was, but there's a show where the YouTube chat just took off, and I could just step back, and the connections were happening without me. And that was just brilliant, because that's what Modulate always in person was. I never wanted it to be about me. I just happened to be the person who...
You're the curator,
who brought these people together. But the bit I enjoyed live in person the most was seeing those connections, seeing people go and talk to each other and check out each other's gear, and you'd be clearing away, you'd overhear conversations, and you'd hear those connections and people forming.
Totally.
ideas, and it was seeing that happen online, and that was just amazing. Just to then you kind of have this show, and ours is different to yours because we don't do it live, but the reactions on YouTube and those connections and
absolutely
different artists speaking to each other and people, and some of the local guys, so someone like Dave Julian who's on the show tonight, the buzz Dave gets out of being on the show with people like Itai, who he's seen a couple of times now and has a load of respect for, and he's like, you put me on an international stage, Rob, and it's like, I never really thought of that. It's not, that wasn't what it was about. It was just put on a show with people that you like. But so other people's reactions for me, I think, is the most special thing on it. So, so what's next? I know what's next for you, but there might be some people on the show who don't know what you're planning for your anniversary. Slightly bigger in scale than ours, but
because I'm slightly more sick and insane. Yeah,
I wasn't going to say that.
Because my mental problems are on display for the world. Yeah. Itai and I talked about how to really see the anniversary show. So I planned a 24-hour plus stream of. We have 130 people playing on May 8 and 9. I will stay up for that whole time and talk with people and interview artists. I don't think that everybody will do the live chat. I've had a little handful of people who said they would pass, and some are language barriers, and we talked about translators for some languages, and that hasn't happened. So,
okay.
But I mean, I'll live chat with by far most of the people after their performance, like usual format.
130 performances and potentially 130 chats.
I would think it may be like 100 chats.
Wow, it's still pretty amazing, and the lineup.
The lineup's pretty silly.
The lineup is pretty immense. I mean, we'll put links to it in YouTube if you've not already seen it and all that kind of stuff. But
it's pretty silly, yeah.
I mean, as a sort of considers myself fortunate to have performed on the show, as we all are grateful to perform each other's, but performing on that lineup, it's like being on just the coolest festival bill. I wouldn't care where I was on that lineup. You could be like opening the smallest stage on like whatever time of day, but it's just, you look at the names on there and it's like, this is it.
The way that Modular World has been built is really from some of the inspiration from Modular on the Spot. That one of the main tenets of that, movement has been that there's no headliners.
No headliner, no.
And it means a lot to me that there's no headliner, there's no names who are bigger, and everybody's awesome. Like there's no filler in that whole lineup. Out of 130 people, I can tell you that there's no filler. Like these are all just like, all these people are killing it. So I like that mentality too, that everybody's headlining,
Oh man, well done. And
same to you. Like congrats on this year, man.
For keeping it going. I know what it takes. And
you do know what it takes.
The actual show is the easy part for what it takes to go into keeping the whole kind of show on the road. So So just to finish your patch for us tonight. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Okay. Family vacation up to the Sequoia National Park a couple weeks ago, which is kind of central California.
Okay.
And a little bit away from the coast. So there's these just like trees that have been up there for 2,000 and more years. They're just enormous trees. So little hikes around that area with the family. I'm not super hikey guy, but enough to get out and see it. And this past year, or since January, I've been doing a lot of these remote performances where I take a little battery in my 7U case. I kind of use the larger case like kind of a library system where I build out smaller cases and then I go out and perform them out.
Yeah.
And I've gotten really addicted to doing this. Where now, like, I don't even want to record at home. Like, I just want to like build a 7U case and find a cool location and bring it out and do it.
Well, it brings
So,
a different inspiration, don't you, from your environment?
It changes everything.
Yeah, totally.
Well, just like, like when you go to a club and you're prepared with your set and you show up and like the room sounds different. There's people talking. Somebody spilled a beer near your case. The speaker's out. The guy's an idiot. It's like the whole chemistry of the night changes from what you had planned. Doing it outdoors, same thing. In just all kinds of different ways. Yeah. And I've really gotten into doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've watched a few of them and they're all pretty special just because of the location. And
thanks.
I think you said before, it's a little portal into someone else's world when you see them perform outside, because that's where they live. And so this one is pretty amazing as well. So
thanks.
Thank you so much for the performance, and thanks for
thanks for having me on. I love your show, and I mean, I'm a fan of you and your music and your show. So
yeah, vice versa, man. And
cheers.
I just can't believe it's been a year. A year we're doing this. Who knows what the next year will bring? But let's get back together in a year's time and see what's happened, eh?
Well, I think you and I will be talking, before a year.
Oh, we'll be talking before that. Cool. Take care, man.
Thanks, Rob.
See you soon, and enjoy the performance, folks.
Well, that was quite a piece of music, really, wasn't it? From Johno Wells, sitting on top of his mountain in the sunny Californian sunshine.
I think he's on vacation, we'll use the American word, with his family in the Sequoia National Park. And just he's been really into doing outdoor jams recently. So there's been a few kind of on the coastline in Southern California that he's done.
To be honest with you, if I lived in scenery like that, I'd be a bit more into outdoor jams as well.
Yeah, but we are, I mean, someone I know has got a pretty special outdoor performance that'll be coming up in a future show. So I think with the right gear, I think certainly the North Wales coast provides lots of opportunity. Just not quite as warm. Therein lies the difference, and not quite the same guarantee of sunshine either. But
no.
But yeah, I mean, I loved the performance, and Johno's stuff is always. He's quite kind of fearless, really. He's someone who performs with seemingly no boundaries on what he does. He just explores what comes out of his synth and kind of goes with it. But if you notice, there's a bit towards the end where he starts whistling.
Yeah.
And we were chatting to him about that, and he said what happened was he accidentally unplugged something. Now in the Arbor, it's got you can sample into it through a patch cable from your synth, but it can also record. It's got inbuilt mics. It'll record from the atmosphere. And it's something I'd use with percussion. Other people use it, but he noticed he'd done it, so he just on the spot decided to start whistling, and that's sampled in through Arbor, and then he just kind of built that into the patch.
Oh, really?
And that just took. I mean, I just thought that was just marvelous, because it kind of. He's kind of saying he was out there in this huge space. So he's kind of whistling into nothing. But in the context of the performance, it just... I just thought it sounded incredible.
It was, and you could, to be honest, you could see his enjoyment throughout the whole thing anyway. That was a man thoroughly enjoying his time, sitting on top of the mountain, playing just a bit of music and absorbing it, and absorbing his surroundings and the music at the same time. Absolutely,
and I would recommend it to anyone. If you've got a piece of gear that is portable and you can take out and power with a portable battery, I think being outside brings a totally different element to your performance. I think you kind of resonate with that, Matt, haven't you, with the kind of stuff you've been trying out as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that I would say is that LCD screens do not work well in bright daylight. So watching this one, I was very jealous of Johno with his very lovely modular kit that all has cables and knobs that are still visible when the sun is shining.
Absolutely. One knob per function as it's placed, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yes, definitely. But yeah, just what a spellbinding performance. And even though it's in his headphones and that no one else could hear that, it felt like that whole canyon was just ringing with the music that he was producing there. And he properly took us on a journey with that one.
It's very easy to get lost in his stuff, isn't it? It really is.
Absolutely. And when he switched gears and he was scratching on the arbor with the patch cable, and then you get that, and the vocal comes in at the end, and we've gone through all of that big kind of bassy drones and tension, and then just to release into that kind of like ethereal euphoric vocals and making scratchiness sound like so beautiful. It's what a performance.
I think you've summed it up perfectly there, mate. And will never be. The other thing with performances like that'll never be repeated. That can't. I mean, it literally can't be repeated, because you'd never create that environment. It'd always be different. It's amazing thing with Modulate, you just have to let go of the conception of having a tune that you'll ever hear again. And I say he's one of the absolute kind of masters at that for me. He's someone who constantly inspires me, because he just, He's just got that fearless approach to just going with it. Brilliant performance.
Yeah, superb. So again, so if we want to listen to more of Johno's stuff, where do we find that, and how can we find his show?
So the Modular World stuff is on YouTube. We'll promote it in the links. We kind of talk about it in the interview, but there's 130 people performing on the next one.
Right.
Including myself, which I'm very excited about. So we'll all be promoting the hell out of it. You won't be able to miss the anniversary show because there'll be 130 people promoting it. But yeah, and for him, he's on Bandcamp. So he's got stuff on his personal Bandcamp, and he's also part of the Aerogrid label, which is well worth. If you've enjoyed that performance of Johno, the Aerogrid label has just got some incredible artists. Mainly modular performers, but it's just for that more experimental modular stuff. There's some fantastic releases on there. So yeah, check out that as well. But we'll link that. We'll link that as well.
Superb, brilliant stuff. Thank you very much indeed, Johno Wells. That was a really beautiful performance there. So we're coming up to our last song. Can you believe this? On the anniversary special, it's.
I know.
Oof, that's gone quick. So what have you picked up for our last special song for the evening?
So we've gone back to Spectrin, who again is another returnee to the show. He did a performance for us last year, which was it's kind of one of my favourites really, because I didn't really quite know what to expect from him, and we got a really edgy kind of alternative performance from him with his gear. So he's done another one for us tonight. Slightly different kind of vibe to this one, but again, just brilliant, and great way to finish. We don't quite often finish on a upbeat banger, but we've got a bit more of a chilled one to finish on tonight. So
it's a beautiful song though. Right, tell you what, there's kind of two tunes here, isn't there, that kind of gently morph one from the other.
He's got 2 tunes, and he's not got a name for either of them, so he's open to suggestions. So just pop them in the chat if anything comes to mind whilst you're watching, and you think that'll make a good track name. Then stick it in the chat, and you never know, we could name his tracks for him live on the show.
Let's do it. Right. Whilst we're doing that, let's have a listen. This is Spectrin.
We started one step at a time, making little interfaces for drum machines to run in time with sequencers. And everybody said, no one will ever want a drum machine to play with a sequencer. That's absurd.
So many of the things which were impossible have become possible. And so many of those things which have become possible have opened doors to so many other possibilities that now I have a whole arsenal of possibilities that I never even thought of before.
that was Spectrin. That was an amazing piece of music, beautifully gentle and subtle and meandering, and I don't know what other words you can use for that. It was just gorgeous.
Yeah, I think like a lot of us, he's had a few ups and downs over the over the past 12 months.
It's been only 12 months, isn't it?
Yeah, it's only been 12 months. But yeah, so I think his intent with this was something kind of still with that kind of slightly darker, gritty edge he does have to his music, but something that sounded a bit more hopeful and quite relaxing at the same time. So, as he described it, he said, calm and hopeful as we head into the summer with the vaccines in our blood. So, yeah, I think trying to find some, but just something a little bit more optimistic as we look forward, which I just thought was a nice way to finish the show in terms of that kind of positivity that he brought to the performance.
There was some vocal samples in there, and I couldn't quite work out what they were saying. I don't know whether either of you picked them up.
Yeah, something about sequencers and drum machines, wasn't it? I'm not sure where I got that one from. I think I've been watching him on Instagram recently. He's been using lots of different sequencers. So I think he got the teletype and he got something else. So that's why he'd use that sample around sequencers and drum machines and that kind of thing, because he's been exploring that a lot in his particular music. So it was a very relevant sample for him. And he's the model cycles as well. He's been using that a lot, and that comes to the fore in that track. It's a great little synth. It
is a fantastic little synth. We were talking about that the other week, Andy and I. Actually, it's a great piece of gear. The model cycles, a great starter piece of Electron kit, but an amazingly powerful piece of kit as well.
Oh god, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, an FM synth for that kind of price range is good. And the Polyon Medusa as well, which is that big Dreadbox Polyon thing with the 8x8 grid on it. He's using that on there as well.
The debut for that very fine looking synth.
Yeah. But no,
to add more Dreadbox gear to our list of featured products, so we can the Medusa to that.
And the Novation Peak. Don't forget that one as well.
Absolutely. One day someone will be listening and send us some free stuff to review, but hey ho, we'll keep going. We'll keep going.
I'll just mention Novation Peak one more time. The Novation Peak.
It's not going to work, Jules.
It's not, is it? No. What an amazing show that's been tonight. Rob, or Matt, I don't mind. Either of you are that excited. Do you want to give us a rundown of what we've had tonight? It's been an amazing array of beautiful music.
Yeah, so I'll go that. So we had kicked off with Megan Leber from the Netherlands, and then we had Andy Peggs and Dave Julian, our only human friends from just over the border in Chester. Hovercat from Berlin. That amazing performance from Johno and the interview, and it's just great to catch up with him and kind of reflect on the year and everything it's kind of meant to each of us. And then finish off with Spectrin. So really enjoyable show, and I think as I said at the start, I think a show that kind of reflects the year that we've had and what we've managed to kind of build together, really, including everyone who's watched it as well. I mean, I think that, as I said to Johno, the thing that's made it special for me is is kind of the chat and the community and the people who, when we put the show out and sit back with a glass of wine and watch it, just the chat and the connections and that's been ace for me. So thanks for everyone. Thanks to all the performers.
Well, again, and thanks to everybody over the last 14 episodes that's put stuff through. And again, people are doing this for nothing, putting these songs through for our enjoyment. And there's a lot of time and effort goes into creating all this stuff. So for all the artists tonight, thank you so much. But everybody over the last 14 episodes. And Rob and Matt for the next 14 episodes. How exciting is that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where we'll be in a year's time. Will it be another 14? I think we have to keep this going in some form. It might not happen with the same frequency as things open up and people kind of get out and about with their lives again, but I think there's a lot of people for whom this way of operating and the communities that are built it's kind of meant a lot to them. So and for us, we've all these people on the show tonight who are now part of our network of friends and fellow performers that a year ago we'd never have had, would we? It's been brilliant and a privilege, really, certainly from my point of view, to kind of be able to expand it like that. Yeah, real privilege.
Superb. Well, we'll see you all again, hopefully in I don't know, 2-3 weeks, 4 weeks time, Rob, something like that. Thereabouts, Matt. Approximately.
Yes. So we're building for May. I think we've got a few things dropping in already. So yeah, we'll get something out there at some point with our usual level of stunning organisation and pre-planning.
Well, it's always a pleasure, never a chore. Lovely to see everybody turning up tonight as well. So, Rob, Matt, as always, thank you for all the efforts that go into making the show. It's you guys that put the hard effort in and the hard work behind the scenes. So thank you so much for doing all that. And thank you very much to all our performers tonight. It's goodbye from me.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you next time. Bye-bye.